marked on it. I'm not sure you can see it, but I marked lines where to fold because I want a hem around the perimeter of the kite. Well, we're back at it here. I hemmed or folded over and glued the hems, and these hems are about 3/8 to a 1/2 inch wide, except at the top, but the leading edge here is, it's about 1 inch or thereabouts hem. You could make it any size you want, I think. Doesn't make that much difference. And I began to install the spars using the paper to bond it to the skin. And what I noticed is a nice feature of using the thread to tie the spars together. The spars are loose and you can shift them during the construction, so that if they're not perfectly aligned when you tie them, you don't have to worry about it. And to me, that's a very nice feature. The glue I'm using is a glue stick called Uhu, and it's non-toxic. I think it's water-based, and it says safe for children, so I guess I'm okay with it. I don't know. So what I do is I just simply put the glue on the piece of paper that I'm going to bond the spars with, and I don't put it on very heavy. I'm not sure how much you need, really. I haven't done this before with this kind of a process. And then I line the paper up so it lays on one side of the spar and press it down. And then I align the spar on the cross line that I drew on the skin. Fold the paper over the spar, and then I use my fingernail to push it up against the edge of the spar and just gently press it with your fingernail, and then rub it with my fingers and just kind of get it stuck down there. And I have a little piece left over, so I'm just going to cut it off with a pair of scissors and go on to the next. And the next one we're going to do is the spine, and I think I'll start right here at the bottom, or at the tail of it. Just cut a piece of paper, do the same thing here. This I'll do pretty much the same. I'll position the spar where it needs to go, right on the line I drew. With the skin side, I'm going to put the skin side of the spine against the paper skin. So it's skin to skin, I guess you'd say. And just burnish down the glued paper on top of the spine. That'll hold that. So now the kite is beginning to take shape, and what I need to do now is to adjust the position on the cross spars and the spine of the leading edge spar, so it's lined up correctly with the line I drew for it right here at the hem, and that the spine's lined up, and that the leading edge spar is relatively straight. I don't want it to be pre-bent. I want it to be straight. Now on the leading edge spar, I put the skin side towards the tail of the kite, or excuse me, towards the tail of the kite, which I probably shouldn't have done. I think I'm going to change it. I'm going to put the skin side towards the back of the kite, facing upward, because when this is bowed, unlike a regular diamond-shaped kite, it'll be bowed like this, towards the back of the kite. So that's what I should have done, didn't. So there we go. We learned a little, or I did learn something there. And I think it's centered. So now what I will do is apply a piece of paper to both of these upper spars. And I'll just take a length of paper, and I cut these strips about, I don't know, 1/2 to 3/4 inch wide, something like that. Really don't know how wide they are, but wide enough to go around the spar. And if you are a real artist, which I don't consider myself an artist, you would probably want to shape the paper in a way that would make it very attractive, just the shape of the paper itself. But I don't. I just leave the ends square or almost square. And I'm going to do the same thing. Just roll the paper over the crossbar here, get it positioned, and burnish it down on both sides of the spar. Yeah, I like flying kites a lot, and I think kites that are built artistically are gorgeous, and I really like them, but I focus mostly on just flying the kites, and if they fly well, that's good enough for me. I don't have to have them perfect and then the other way. And you may feel differently about it, and if so, well, you can adjust your kite accordingly. And as you can see, the part of the paper came off, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to continue on here. Now when I put the spars against the line that I drew, the diagonal line, whoops, I guess I missed that one, didn't I? Might have to add an additional piece of paper on that. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. I drew those lines for me to locate those spars when I am doing this kind of this part of the work. So now we just have the leading edge to do, and it's a little trickier, I think, because we have all these protrusions. We have the spine, which I think I'll cut a notch out here to allow it to fold over on either side of the spine. And we have these tied pieces here that look like they're going to go to the exterior of the kite skin. So they'll be protruding from the finished kite, which is fine with me. I kind of like that appearance, actually. And so we'll cut a notch. I think I'll just cut a piece of triangle right out here like this of the leading edge part of the kite, and then that will give me some extra freedom to roll that over without it wrinkling. And if I need to reinforce it, I can add a separate piece of paper later to do that. I don't think that'll be much of an issue.